Welcome to Heart Collaborations, where we explore the heart of wellness, mental and emotional well-being, relationships, personal passions, and thriving parenthood. Hi, I'm Annette.
And I'm Anita. Collectively, we have over 50 years in the educational and mental health arenas. Whether you're looking for information, personal stories, or just a place to feel seen and heard, you're in the right place. Join us as we dive into conversations that inspire, empower, help you grow, and add a little laughter to your life. Hey, hi, Annette.
Hey, Anita.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about, I think, a really interesting topic and one that people are really going to enjoy. We're talking about journaling.
That is my favorite thing to do.
I believe it.
I love and mine's not like a traditional because I like to mix like a junk journal and just like a regular journal. I've also done the calendar journaling, and I like them all. I can't say that I like one more than the other. Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting because when we were unpacking, I should say, getting ready for this episode, I brought out my little bag of goodies and Anita brought out her little bag of goodies. And for those of you that are just listening, not viewing, but just listening, I want to describe, okay? So Anita has all these great pens and gadgets and really colorful and all this. All right, you two people, y'all see that. And then like her journals are all colorful and wow, right? And this pretty much speaks to like our creativity in a way. Mine, look at mine. Okay, mine is like a little black book, a little red book, a little blue book, another little black book. Oh, we've got a little color, but so it's kind of humorous just to see her unpack and see me unpack. And that's one of the reasons we make a great team.
Yeah. So I have to have like my special pens. Like I don't let anybody borrow my pens. Like I carry pens that I'll let people borrow.
Yeah.
But I'm a pens person really. And I think if you're like a journaler, you have special pens.
Okay.
And you like special paper. Like I like the feel of paper. Some paper weighs a little bit more. Some other paper doesn't. I like a little heavier paper.
Okay. So I'm go ahead.
I was just going to say, let's thank Rob at the meeting place.
Yeah,
we got so excited about journaling. I'm like, what?
Let's thank our buddy Rob Bliss with the meeting place, our sponsor, does such a great job. And the meeting place is located in Farmers Branch, and it's where you come to connect, collaborate, and learn. So it's a shared workspace, meeting rooms, event center.
Great events.
Yeah, everything that you need, right? And just welcoming people. I think for me, that's the biggest thing is you walk in and you feel welcome.
Yeah. And so if you come into the desk, you're going to meet G. He's the one that schedules everything.
Yeah.
And G, thank you for scheduling us and letting us always use the room too.
Definitely.
And Andy for filming us. So yeah, thanks for the meeting place. We are here.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely I can tell from the introduction that you're a journaler. Today we're going to be talking about, what is journaling and why is it important? How does it help? And what are some of the various types of journaling? And honestly, since I've been researching this topic, it seems like there's a journaling style for everybody.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If I'm talking about myself, okay, let's start with diaries. And I know that diaries are not the same as journaling, but I'm just segueing with diaries. I have never once kept a diary, okay? I just haven't. And so I think that's a precursor to what my journaling life has been. I haven't in the past been a big journaler. I have used journaling, with clients though. And really in this last, week of researching and study, have just become a bigger fan of journaling. And so I see myself utilizing it more. And I see myself using it more with clients as well. One of the things that, one little piece of research that came out is, for example, people in therapy, that if they combine that journaling with the therapeutic process of seeing a therapist, there was increased satisfaction and, optimized change of kind of moving to where they want to be. It was a help.
Well, journaling, I mean, even if you don't have a therapist, journaling is very beneficial. It's a place where I'm going to say it's the catharsis that happens. When you write something that you see it, not only do you have like the awareness of what you're thinking, right? But that inner critic comes out. Whether you have an inner critic, and sometimes the voices in our head that we hear are could be the voices where we grew up, right? Our parents or whoever influenced, teachers, aunts. But when we get down to the nitty gritty and we're writing those journalings, what really comes out is our voice. And I think with that, the connection of actually hearing our voice.
Okay. So being able to identify, wait a minute, here's my voice, my inner voice. Here's my identity.
Yeah.
And the story that I'm telling myself. And then maybe even identifying some triggers, some patterns. Journaling can help with that as well.
Well, and it's also, I'm kind of a guide, kind of a compass.
Okay.
If you are kind of having some, let's say, some thoughts about kind of, and a lot of people journal all the time, but I feel like that those that need a little help as far as kind of in transition,
right?
Not need help, but are in transition, right? And they're making a big decision. Let's say I'm working with somebody that's thinking about, should I get a divorce or not? A lot of the critics come in about, what does society say about me? How will my kids, be? So it's kind of like giving that space,
right?
Giving those thoughts a space to be able to actually write down what it is that maybe I can get to decide what I want,
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to read something by Penn Baker, and Penn Baker was one of the first who was kind of investigating the therapeutic results and working with traumatic events. And let me read this to you. He says that to focus general emotions and events or specific experiences, what makes writing therapeutic is that the writer openly acknowledges and accepts their emotions and becomes able to give voice to his or her blocked feelings and to construct a meaningful story in a safe environment. So a couple of things that stand out to me in that is, one, safe environment. So many times we are harboring thoughts and ideas and feelings and beliefs, and we're afraid to speak them into the atmosphere. We don't want to be judged. And so if we are journaling and we're keeping that in a safe place or even discard it afterwards, then that's a safe space for us, right? Another thing is we've been learning more and more about that when we're able to acknowledge our thoughts, our emotions, and put that out there, acceptance, that helps us to move and to be empowered to change.
Just that awareness. I was thinking about it because I use journaling quite a bit when I work with people. And so I also use a lot of like narrative therapy and, a lot of that being able to write now the story that they want.
I love that. Yeah.
Instead of having to live the story that they've lived. Sometimes when they're stuck, they can see that, you know what, I do have a future. Now I have a story to write, and that story belongs to me.
So they can be intentional and begin to envision this life that they want, not just where they are currently, but what is the life that I want to move into, I want to step into. That's that's a very powerful thing of journaling, isn't it?
Right. And so whenever when we're journaling, we become aware of the things that maybe we've been through, the things that we no longer want to carry with us, we can leave behind. I always encourage the people I work with to take with you what you want and leave what you don't want to carry anymore. Leave it there on the pages.
Right.
You don't have to carry it anymore. And you can start your own story.
Definitely. one of the pieces of research I came across was for veterans. And I saw multiple times in the scientific literature, evidence of how journaling was effective and helpful for veterans re-entering, coming back from, service. And for example, one was a study where veterans were coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq, and they had the opportunity to journal about reentry and reconnecting with their families. And the ones that used expressive emotional language, they did some post research, and a month after they reunited with their family, there was a more positive feeling of reconnection with reconnecting with their families.
Yeah.
And I think, wow, that's huge, isn't it?
So I also used journaling as a meditation. And so meditation is so good for us, right? For so many reasons. And there is a connection with being able to write what you have up here, down here, and also connecting it with your heart, right? And so it's kind of like you don't really have to think about the stuff out here because you're busy in here writing. So it's like a meditation of just writing and being lost in this world right here. And so a lot of the times, writing helps our breathing slow down. It helps with our blood pressure slow down because we actually slow down and our mind is clear. You can't write if your mind is chaotic. Like if you're, but if your mind is clear and you're able to do that, then that is so beneficial.
So for some people, they may experience physiological benefits from journaling. And I know that there are times, let's say someone is using a prompt or exploring something that maybe has been traumatic, that in that moment, they may experience an increase in blood pressure, an increase in heart rate, maybe an increase even a little bit in possibly anxiety. But the research shows that in terms of after that experience and longitudinal study wise, that there are benefits that come from that, even though they might have a little bit of an increase.
It goes back down. Once you've written about it, I mean, it's back down, and being able to leave it there and not carry it anymore is worth all that,
So some of the benefits, we know that journaling helps with anxiety. Journaling helps with depression. Journaling can help with PTSD. Stress management, reflecting, thinking back, and analyzing. Recovery.
Oh, recovery is, very important. But using journaling with recovery is amazing because, like I said, it kind of, you could use it as a compass, right? And now, in recovery, we're developing new morals, and we're, so it's kind of becoming a new moral compass.
So you're having an opportunity to identify your values. So there's acceptance, there's commitment, there's understanding and identifying your values. That journaling process helps you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, so oftentimes we're just moving and grooving, right? Moving and grooving. But when we allow space, like you were mentioning earlier, allow space for our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings to come out.
This is kind of like, have you ever stepped into the river and, the water was clear, but the minute you stepped in there and started walking, it's kind of getting murky, right?
Right.
And you can't see your feet anymore. And that's how we are in the everyday life, going. But if we softly step, and if we stand still, or even if we step slowly, the water is still pretty much clear, right? And so that's kind of what journaling and our mind thinking is a lot with, kind of connection with meditation, of that we can go ahead and have that feeling of that clarity in our head to be able to write, to be able to feel, to be able to name, And so with that, we're made aware of how we feel and how we think, and Tuna, I think it brings about awareness about the labels that we've been carrying, or even, somebody else's idea becomes very clear on this piece of paper of knowing I no longer have to carry that. I have my own identity. I want something else different for myself, So yeah.
Referring back to a past episode, Bro Therapy Summer, right? One of the things that we talked about is how research shows that sometimes our guys struggle with having the vocabulary, the words, the feeling words.
Yep.
And so this practice, one, opens up space, but it gives them an opportunity to practice using those feeling, those emotional words. And so I could see where that would be a benefit as well.
Yeah. So, sometimes when I work with some people and they don't have the verbiage right, but they do have these feelings, these strong emotions. So what I've asked them to do is to color. So when they come back, you see a bunch of colors.
Right.
And they can tell you what emotion that they were feeling that day, what was going on.
I love that.
How that was tied to them, because if they don't have the verbiage, but they can come back and explain and say, you know what, I was thinking about it and this is what happened.
Yeah.
And so they may not be able to say it, but they can feel it.
Right. And definitely, some of the fun stuff is those visual journals, right?
I
We'll
love
talk
those.
a little bit about those, but a visual journal can be images. It could be something that we've cut out. It can be something that we draw. It could be a mixture of words and, visual images. I saw some really interesting ones online that really caught my attention. And you don't have to be a great artist, okay? Because this is just for you. You don't have to impress anybody. It's just for you. So, yeah. I thought it was interesting, even like hospital stays, they've shown where journaling can lessen the amount of time that a person has to stay in hospitals.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so good. It's so good to get this stuff out.
They've made a connection between less absenteeism for work, better grades. So there's just a ton of research, that goes over the benefits of journaling for sure.
I mean, reducing stress, feeling better because you can, leave it here. You're happier. You don't have to carry and think about it all the time.
Right.
If it's something that's nagging at you, put it on paper and just kind of leave it there, and come back to it. So, yeah.
One of the, we've been talking about, on a recent episode, we were talking about, I think this was the breaking away from childhood anxiety and OCD, a parent guide. We got into talking about the brain and the amygdala and how the amygdala is our alarm system. And there's some research about journaling in the amygdala. And I thought this one was really interesting. But for example, a person can see a picture of an angry or sad face, right? And that will create a reaction in the amygdala. It'll set up that alarm system. Our brain is so freaking fascinating. I love it.
I know it.
But the cool thing is that if a person just writes down the word and labels that picture, that emotion that's in that picture. So just seeing that picture sets off that amygdala, right? And there's a physiological reaction, that fight, flight, or flee, right?
Yeah.
But by just labeling that emotion, that amygdala begins to calm down.
It's an awareness.
Yeah.
Now we know, I'm not on fire.
Right.
It's that clarity. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
And we're
thing.
seeing how powerful, when we talk about unwanted intrusive thoughts, when we talk about the anxieties, when we talk about the anxiety monster, all those kinds of things that we've been, hitting on, we find the importance of being able to one, acknowledge that, accept it, and then give it a name, right? So, yeah.
I mean, journaling, I love journaling because, like I said, it gives a space. But, one really important thing is when I journal, I like to sit in my chair and I like to have my things around me.
So you get your whole space.
I got my whole space. And so I'm ready to journal. I know when I go to this spot, I've got my pens, I've got my little stuff there, and I know what I'm going to do.
So, like, for you personally, do you have a set time of day, or do you do it regularly, or just when you feel like you want to, or how does that work for you? I'm just curious.
It just depends what journal it is. So, if I love junk journaling. Junk journaling is, I feel like, a lot of fun.
What is junk journaling?
So junk journaling, you can put whatever you want in there. If we go to the movies, my receipt is going in there. I may write a little thing about, went to the movies with whoever, right? And so you can write about not just your day, but you can write about, okay, it's a good movie, I had a good time, whatever. But it's also kind of like a memory keeper. You can go back and look at it. And that's what I like the best is documenting. It's kind of like, when we keep a log of how our kids were developing.
Right.
That's kind of how that is.
But you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about some of the different roles and types, of journaling. And one is breath journaling. And I like breath journaling. I'm a big box breathing person, right? So it doesn't surprise you that I would like breath journaling. But for those of you that might not know, breath journaling, one type of breath journaling is you can just have, a clean sheet of paper. You have your pen or pencil marker, whatever it is that you like in hand. And you are just kind of tracing how your breath would be. So I'm drawing a line as I breathe in. And then when I begin to breathe out, I reverse that on that paper and I make it go in the opposite direction, right?
You would be drawing a box. I know you would be drawing a box.
But check that out. I think breath journaling is really cool. And it's just that, so you're giving a visual image of what that breath, by bringing your pen or pencil back and forth with the exhale and inhale. It's very relaxing.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna say I like I also like gratitude journaling. I feel like gratitude journaling, I like it because you know what? A lot of the times we don't really think about like the gratitude and how lucky we are.
Right.
And that can be very humbling. Like, I especially like it when I work with people, especially in recovery, because, just the thing of staying clean or being clean is a great thing for gratitude, right?
I love the gratitude piece. I try to live in that space as much as possible because it will change your world. It'll change your relationships. And I just am so much happier when I'm living in that space. So, and this, this isn't exactly gratitude, but I'm going to link it. One of the things that I will often do, especially if I'm feeling a little bit more stressed or having more trouble sleeping at night, I will do a little journal, and it's real simple. My life is very simple. I will have a little notebook, and I'll write down 3 things that went well that day. And I'll acknowledge those things. And then, of course, anytime things are going well in your life, you're grateful, or I am, right?
Yeah.
So that brings about that gratefulness right there. It's such a simple thing to do. And it helps us really release and end the day on a positive note.
You know what I thought you were going to say?
What?
I thought you were going to say that you wrote music.
I do. So we both brought some examples of, journals. And this is so funny. So, it's not that funny. But anyway, I have just a little plain, little black journal. I like how it feels. I like how it's flimsy. I like how it's little. And I have my songs in here that I write. And so for me, although I'm not a big journaler, I do use music a lot. I write lyrics and then I play the guitar very simplistically, and I write chords. And this is really a source of healing for me, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Annette. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of like music journaling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whether you're playing an instrument, playing that, but and I was even thinking because some of the people that I work with, you know, they like to write music and they like to, make beats to it.
Right,
So it's
right.
interesting whenever they make beats, they come in with their music about what that music speaks, about,
Yes.
how they were at that moment and kind of where they are and where they want to be.
Another type of, musical journaling is, for example, a person can use a drum, use whatever type of instrument, okay? And you just use that instrument to express your emotions that you're feeling at that time, or maybe your emotions that you're feeling about a past, event. And you can record that. It's very simple. I use my voice message all the time on my phone to record my music. And so you can use your drums or whatever it is that you want to use and then record that and play back. And I think it's really interesting. And it's an incredible emotional outlet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another type of journaling is intuition. And, there's research to show that when we go with our intuition is right a lot of the time. Okay. And so let's say if you're questioning, you're trying to make a decision, you're feeling stuck, then you can use intuition. And one way of doing that is to write, for example, you can have a prompt or a question, is this relationship worth saving? And you're trying to figure it out, right? And if you just start writing and you start writing your thoughts, your ideas, and don't judge, don't limit, just write, just free write. Oftentimes that will help us, kind of come to some conclusions about a topic that's weighing on us, right?
Yeah. It's just a compass of, of kind of where we want to be, maybe guiding, again, that awareness. Yeah.
Stream of consciousness journaling. It's where maybe you set a timer for 15 minutes.
Now, the conscious journaling, I find it really beneficial. Like if you have a spot that you normally use, and then the timing, like the same timing, only because our bodies know. And so when you're gonna get in there, it's kind of like I said, like a meditation. So getting in there and maybe doing some deep breathing before you go in there, that water's gonna be so clear.
Right.
And then you can really write.
So kind of settling, with little kids, we talk about settling the glitter, right? And you have that little globe and you shake it up. Maybe it's agitated or frustrated or whatever, anxious or unclear. And then as it sits there, that glitter begins to fall. And then that's kind of what you're talking about, is giving ourselves time to let our body settle and the glitter settle of those emotions. And with the stream of consciousness, you just are going to start writing. You're going to free write. You're not going to worry about grammar. You never want to worry about grammar or spelling or anything like that when you're journaling. And in a sense, you're just going to dump, just write. And let's say you get stuck and you stop. Then what you would do is you'd start writing what you've already written until something new comes. So, yeah.
Well, and sometimes taking deep breaths in between also helps, and then you can, it's like getting writer's block, right? And then you can come back whenever you feel like it. And I was hoping I would find my my journal. It's made out of envelopes because I have a lot of unsent letters in there, you know. And it's made out of envelopes. So I made one, and then my daughter also made one because she saw me doing it. And so she did hers, and hers is really funny. I think she was like in 3rd grade.
I love that. So not only adults, but teens, little kids, anybody can benefit from journaling. And what a great opportunity to model, good healthcare.
Well, and just being creative, you know, just being creative and making those books.
So you mentioned unsent letters, and that's another type of journaling, right?
Yeah.
And it's where from the very beginning, I'm never going to send this letter. But oftentimes we have things that we want to say, we want to get off of our heart, but there's some reason that we're not able to do it, And I don't know why she's laughing. You can't see her, some of you, but she's laughing. So,
oh gosh,
you want to jump in or what?
No, go ahead. I'm laughing at our producer.
So, like, for example, if the person has died, you don't have an opportunity to talk to them, but you can journal them and that letter never be sent, right? Another thing would, hey, maybe there are things you really want to tell your employer, but it would not be smart or advantageous.
Yeah.
You can get that out. You can get that off of your heart, your mind.
I mean, anything that you're carrying.
Yeah.
You can write it down and then put it in there.
Right. Definitely. So, you go into it knowing that you're not going to send it. For me personally, because I don't want my letters to be found, right? So I don't have envelopes. I have, after I write that, and maybe I read it back, and then I tear mine up.
Yeah. So I also use the unsent letter journals a lot with grief. And so, because a lot of times, there's a lot of stuff unsent. Like I said, I wish I would have found my little journal. But it's so easy to make them out of envelopes, But getting that unstuck, because we don't realize about the things when someone passes, that we can write letters to help us with, one, the awareness of how much we're missing them,
Right.
and two, if we had I'm going to say if they stop by the house every morning for breakfast and they're not doing that anymore, it's kind of like what new ritual am I going to do instead of doing that, right? I'm going to write a letter and I'm going to put it in that envelope journal.
Definitely. Yeah. It could be a breakup, you really don't want to have contact with that person, but you have things that you want to express and you can do that for sure. Yeah. So really encourage you to use that unsent letter journaling. Maybe you've suffered some type of abuse and you're not able to confront that person for some reason. That might be a time that you could utilize that as well.
Yeah.
So, so we've talked about some of the different types of reasons that we benefit from journaling. We talked about some of the different types of journals. Anything else coming to mind right now about different types of journals? There's so many out there.
I mean, I know there's, you could type them.
Yeah.
I really like the writing. It's just a preference. I mean, some people are really into digital journals, and those are actually pretty cool too. But I just kind of like to write mine.
So it's kind of whatever's right for that person.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to mention, there's an app that I love. It's got like a little rainbow heart, and it's called How We Feel. And I love that little app because you can check in. Well, you can set up your notifications. You can check in 2-3 times a day. Well, how many ever times a day you want. But the cool thing about it is it gives you the wording. Like it'll tell you, oh, today I'm feeling unpleasant. And then then you go on and it gives you all these other feeling words. And then when you get to it, it tells you, okay, do you want to talk to somebody? Do you want to journal about it? They can get with or without a prompt. So I like that you can actually write something there while you're in the app.
Right.
And it stays in the app. So I really like that How We Feel app. And it's free.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I love some free stuff for sure. Want to encourage you, if this is an area that you are interested in, you think you would benefit from, then you can just get out there, get online. You can put in therapeutic journaling. What are some other searches that they could do?
I was thinking in that. I think I'm going to do like a little Instagram thing or put it on our Instagram or on our Facebook about how to make that envelope journal. That envelope journal, because it is so cool for grief. I use it a whole lot. So
that sounds great. So we could have gone over prompts today, but I think sometimes when you're just listening, maybe that's harder to really relate to.
Maybe we can do a part 2.
And also, I mean, I saw so many prompts. There's a list of 100 prompts. There's a list of 50 prompts. And for different kinds of things as well. So categories of prompts that you can find. I want to mention, and we'll do it together, but mention some free therapeutic journaling resources. One of these are online templates. One is called Simple Practice, and it's by Rachel Havacost. And she has free journaling templates and worksheets.
Okay. And then, what is that? Free prompts and workshops on journal apps?
Yeah, so journal apps is another resource that you can go to. And another one is Journal Buddies.
There is so much stuff out there. So positivepsychology.com, DIY journaling. There, if you just on YouTube.
Pinterest as well.
Oh, yeah. I love Pinterest. Y'all know I love Pinterest. There's just so much information about journaling and how beneficial it is. But I mean, I love it.
There's a podcast. It's called The Power of Journaling. The whole podcast is about journaling. And so it includes journaling to create calm, to meet goals, to incorporate art. So that's another thing you can check out. Yeah. There are a couple of books that we want to mention. One is called Expressive Writing, Words That Heal. And it's by that researcher that we mentioned earlier, Penn Baker and John Evans. I also want to just show you a couple that I have, and I'll talk about it for...
I have an idea.
What?
If they comment that they're interested, we can do a live on Instagram and do a live journaling event.
I would love that. That would be so much fun.
So y'all make sure to comment. We'll do it.
Yes, definitely. Here's one. Now, this particular journal is, a guided journal, but it's very simple. It's called the 100-Day Playbook. We actually received this from our employers, and so it's a cool one. Building healthy habits, increase productivity, and optimize your life. An example is each day they'll give a little quote. Here's one. This was day 25 out of 100. It says, I will not lose, for even in defeat, there's a valuable lesson learned. So it evens up for me. And then it says, I'm excited about, and gives you space to write. My main focus for today is, gives you place to write. Today would be a win if, and gives you place to write. And then I am blank, I am blank, I am blank. And then there's a little, at the end of the day, for the nighttime, there's a daily score. And it was, today was great because. Another one is, I can improve myself by, and then the last, I am grateful for. So that's an example of, a guided journal that you can buy.
I was going to say Texas State University was giving those out for free. So check their website. I'm not sure if they're still giving them out, but they were at that time.
Here's another one. It's called Love the Journey. It's a workbook for building a life you don't need a vacation from. That would be awesome. I would love that. It's a collaboration between Bando and Dr. Therese Mascado. Let me just tell you a couple of things that are in this one, okay? There's a section called Map It Out, one step at a time, bring your friends, delight in the detours, love the journey. I'll just give you one little prompt. Let's see. Says, no, I'm going to open it to the center of this. It says, bring your friends. Good trips aren't really about the place, the plans, or the accommodations. They're about spending time with good company. And then a reflection would be, and it's by Aegis. I'm going to give you the one, it says, take a moment to reflect on your experience with friendships at different times in your life. And each age range below, consider who was there for you, what made them a good friend at that stage in your life, and how did you support one another? And it has a breakdown of ages 5 through 12, 13 through 17, 18. And, I think that can be really powerful. When you're looking back, who were the good friends? What made a good friend? How did they help you? One, it helps you decide what kind of friend you want to be, but it also helps you decide what kind of friend do you need today?
Well, and what strengths did you have?
Yeah, definitely.
Then that you're building on, right? I really like making my own. I notice yours are all like
Yeah.
prompts.
Right.
I don't use prompts.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of freestyle.
Uh-huh.
So I use these rings a lot with like either just pages, half a page, index cards, and then
Wait,
I use.
I need to understand. So she's holding up some little rings that are interconnected. They're colored different.
Yeah.
How do you use these?
You undo them
to make your journal.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you can have as many holes or how many.
So can you
things
get
you
this at
wanna-
any craft store
Yes.
or what?
Michael's.
So this is actually the
Hobby
spiral
Lobby.
piece. Is she makes her
Yeah.
own?
And then whenever I'm done using my planners, I use these. I paint a lot of the pages, and then I just do my journaling in there.
Okay.
So yeah, so I like these, and then I just like I said, mine are all like different. I don't have any prompts; they're just regular little notebooks that you can use for writing in.
Yeah, doing that mind dump, that 15-minute, whatever the situation is,
Just
free writing.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I love that.
And y'all see my pen, so my stuff gets really colorful.
And I like that you do that. I like that you take the time to pull together some stuff. It doesn't have to be expensive at all.
No.
And for example,
I mean, I'm recycling that planner.
yeah, I will use a legal pad to do my journaling in as well. But I kind of like that you've put some thought into, you've collected some tools. They don't have to be expensive, but they're meaningful to you. You like the way they feel. You like the way they look. And just like you were talking about the paper earlier.
Yeah.
And possibly it makes that experience more fun, more enjoyable, more relaxing. So a couple of apps, you named one. Another one is Happy Feed. Another one is Reflectly. Another one is DRO. So those are some apps out there that if you, and most of those will link between devices and also give you an opportunity to upload photos and that sort of thing. So there's something for everybody. And it's just kind of whatever your personality is and what you like.
And digital journals are so easy to make as well. Yeah.
So as we're kind of wrapping this up about journal, do we want to give a challenge out there this week? I know that one, you've already mentioned, you said, if they do A, we will do B. What was that?
We would do a live how to make an envelope journal.
Okay. So if you're interested in that, and what are they going to say? They're going to just say envelope journal or what? What are they going to say?
They can just say envelope journal.
Okay. All right. Then that's something we'll take heed of.
Yeah. Or my favorite phase is let's do it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Want to also just remind you, we're at the beginning stage of this, and our goal, our mission is to get good information out there, good products out there, and to save you time from having to look for it yourself. We want to build community. We want to collaborate. We want to support you. And because we are new, we can use your support as well. And so one way that you can support us is listening and liking or sharing. A big one is subscribing.
Follow us
on
Instagram.
Yeah, so if you can follow or subscribe, Spotify, YouTube, and to share that. And one of the best things that you can do is not just to tell somebody verbally about it, but to share a link so that they're more likely to click onto that link. And we are open to feedback too. So if you'd like to give us some feedback, we want you along on the journey to help us grow and to help us really reach out and meet people's needs.
Yeah. Even if you want a live event and want to do a journal, that would be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you. Own your wellness.
Elevate your life.
The content presented in this episode or any others should not be considered therapy and is not prescriptive. If you have questions or concerns about mental health, contact your primary care physician or local mental health provider. The opinions expressed are solely ours and are not representative of our employers or coworkers.